Hello there, and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
On
and today we're going to be doing,
the news.
you know, it's true, big breaking news right now.
Don't sound excited.
Nah, very somber and
There you go. That's
tragic
better.
news.
Better.
Our dear friend Adam West has passed away at the age of 88. The star of Batman, the cartoon. Maybe more people would look Family Guy. People will know him from that. He played the mayor, Adam West, of course. Um,
Oh, come on, Batman. You can begin and end there.
yeah, your thoughts?
You know, he had a good run, didn't he? I suppose I think in the last maybe 15 years or so, he came round to the idea of being known as Batman
Yeah.
because I imagine, in fact, I think he was pretty honest about it. He was pretty annoyed at being typecast for such a long time, but it's not a bad way to go out, is it? I think Roger Moore said the same thing about being James Bond. It's not really a bad thing to be known as, is it? So,
Mm. I remember him fondly when with I guess Lego Batman 3. He used to be like Stan Lee is in Lego Superheroes, where he used to be in like peril. You know that he'd be stuck under stuff, and then you'd save him, and you'd get a brick for it. So he was that in the Lego Batman game.
yeah, I think the nice thing is that he lived long enough for him to become cool again.
Mm.
Because for our generation, and probably the ones a bit before in the 80s, he was a bit of a joke when we were kids. But it was beyond a joke because Batman was meant to be all dark and gritty, and that's what Batman must be, and that's what I prefer Batman to be. But he got to a point where he was still popular. He was popular again. He was the fun Batman, the Batman no one really wants to see again, but that they can remember fondly.
Mm.
So at least live long enough for that to happen. And there'll never be another Batman like him again.
So I rate him in the same respect that I rate Patrick Stewart, because I mean, not Patrick Stewart does that serious stuff, and I know Adam
Shakespeare
West
and whatnot, yeah.
is maybe not known for that, and Patrick Stewart does the voices on like Family Guy and American Dad, and is like the CIA director and is going around doing all weird stuff. And I kind of rated Adam West because he went into like Family Guy and he was like the mayor and doing funny stuff on that as well. So I kind of rate them in the same thing.
Sure, and that's cool. That's part of what their niche. I suppose not niche is very popular, but what their geek cred can get them later on going forward. Tom Baker had a similar thing with Doctor Who, right? Doctor Who basically got him the voice on what was it, Little Britain.
Yeah, it was good on that. So yeah, rest in peace from the Superhero Hub. Moving on to our next story, Black Panther trailer. It dropped yesterday. I know you've seen it. I've seen it also. The There's a bit where he backflips over a car and he kind of looks real CGI, but I guess that's for the trailer and it don't come out till next year. Wakanda, all the little cool skyscraper things like future like skyscrapers, they look sick. Ulysses Claw, I liked his bit in it because he's kind of sitting down with Martin Freeman is sitting down with him and is saying about Wakanda, how no one's ever got there, and it's just like, it's some third world country and stuff like that, and then Claw's just like, nah, I know, I've been there, and stuff like that. That was cool. I think he'll be a great villain. Obviously he's got his arm off and is, I guess, locked up in a government facility because he's having a one-on-one. Whether he ends up getting out of that, I mean, there was a quick kind of flick of him, Andy Serkis in like a paramedic outfit with a silenced pistol. So I guess he escapes and pops people off. So I mean, I think it looks kind of sick.
Yeah,
I
it'd be
think,
interesting what they do with Claw, isn't it? Because I mean, he's the one Black Panther villain I know, but I don't think, from what I heard, they were talking about Michael B. Jordan's character being the villain of the movie.
yeah, Man Ape. I
Yeah.
think it's too. Manape's the internal threat, and Ulysses Claw's like the outside threat that threatens to like bring like the whole world in on it. That Wakanda's not some scuzzy little mud hut place. It's really like futuristic and rich from the vibranium. Um, I kind of look at it like um, a kind of maybe Mission Impossible Jason Bourne thing, like in the sense that like Black Panther's like Jason Bourne, and like Ulysses Claw's like this terrorist who's gonna bring down Wakanda in the same sense, like I don't know, someone in Jason Bourne would bring down the CIA or something like that. I kind of look at it like that. That kind of like kind of along the same lines as I think it's going to kind of have a uh, Winter Soldier feel about it. Like, you know what? I think it's going to be real different to the other films, but I think it's going to be sick in that sense. I think it's going to be really good. It's like a kind of like terrorist thing, like, oh, I'm going to come into Wakanda and like blah blah blah, kind of that, but a superhero kind of thing.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it's going to be different, especially with Black Panther. What we saw of him in Civil War, there was really no comedy whatsoever, which I think is a good thing.
I think it's kind of serious as well, because normally with the trailers you have like with the Wonder Woman thing, you had a bump into the thing at the end and they were like, yeah, you didn't rate that, but that was like the comedy thing of it. But for this, it was like real super serious. It like feels to me like it's got a Jason Bourne vibe. I don't know why, but I look at it like that and I think it'll be real cool. Because I mean, I think it's going to be a real big hit. Because basically, it's just one of them films, like a Mission Impossible film, but it's like Black Panther. It's just a comic book character. You know, they've adapted it for that. So I think that's going to be a big hit in the sense that the Winter Soldier was a big hit. Um, Production wraps on Tomb Raider, which is apparently going to be released in 8 months. So I guess they've got all that stuff done.
Yeah, well, fingers. I don't know. I suppose it could work. The first one of Angelina Jolie was all right, I guess. It wasn't horrible.
That was like
Good.
I looked at those two as like the early games, and
Mm.
now you got the whole rebooted thing. That's what this is going to be about, which is why this is probably going to be more successful.
Hopefully, yeah. It just if they can focus on the right stuff, it always baffles me. I mean, when they do these video game adaptations and they pick the wrong thing to focus on when it comes to the story, like the Assassin's Creed thing did.
Yeah. Um, Fear the Walking Dead ratings put it as the number 3 cable show.
Mm. What for the week?
I guess so.
I don't know.
Justice League action figures have been released, so anyone who wants to get their hands on some Justice League action figures, go ahead. Also, Chadwick Boseman, who plays Black Panther, he released like a little like Instagram or whatever video of on set of Infinity Wars, so he's going to be in that as well. Uh,
And everyone's going to be in that, isn't there?
Hellboy reboot. There's obviously the picture released of the guy,
Harbour.
Patton Oswald,
Okay.
David Harbour, and Ron Perlman sitting at a table. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
popping off.
David Harbour got one role. He was rumoured for Cable at one point, wasn't he? I couldn't see that.
So yeah, that's moving forward. Wonder Woman news. It opened to 228.1 million. And Patty Jenkins, although she said that Wonder Woman 2 will be set in America and be more contemporary, she's not yet signed for the sequel yet.
Yeah, which is a good thing for her.
Why? Because she can.
Money and power.
Strong words.
Absolutely. I mean, DC,
They don't
I
need
guess,
her for the
they were
second
taking
film.
but it would be an absolute shitstorm if they didn't get her on. Yeah, they finally managed to get some good publicity from this. You don't want to taint it by getting another director, so
Yeah,
they'll give her what she wants, money wise.
Tane. Yeah, well, that's been a good thing for DC in general because Joel Kinnaman came out. Not that anyone really cares what he has to say, but is took it upon himself to be the spokesperson. But he's come out and said that apparently Suicide Squad 2 is gonna start filming next year. So I guess there's a lot of confidence.
Yeah, it made money, didn't it?
Yeah, like pretty much this. It made the same money. I think maybe 10, 20 million less than Dawn of Justice did. There was all about the 780 million mark for both of them. So that probably cleared about 300 million. So yeah, there's added confidence in DC now because that's hit. But the worst thing that can happen now is if Justice League don't do as well as Wonder Woman. Um, Speaking of which, Henry Cavill posted a picture on his Instagram, I guess also celebrating the 79th anniversary of Superman, but also doing reshoots and is wearing his red outfit.
What the normal Superman outfit.
Yeah, except it looks a little lighter. It looks less dark blue and less dark red. It looks a
Oh,
little
yeah.
lighter,
They'll
which
change it up, obviously. They're not going to give them the exact same one because they want to sell more toys, aren't they? But
yeah, it got destroyed anyway, didn't it? Because it got punched. You got hole through it.
you can sew it up. Mark Kent, she'll fix it.
So yeah, I was expecting a black suit. So the fact is,
That's it. But he's not. He's not. He's going to get rid of it pretty quickly, isn't he? He's not going to keep it forever. They want Superman to be in the. That way, you can sell two toys. One of them in a black suit and one in the normal Superman
I
costume.
can't wait for that pop figure. That's going to be the rare one. Um, Dark Universe news. Now I haven't got the figures, but I wanted
It's
to
a mummy
see.
thing.
Yeah, the Mummy. I haven't got the figures for the Mummy yet, but is 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it hasn't been like it's like oh it's a Mummy reboot, but it's kind of boring. So what that'll do to the money wise, because really from the promotions, they're kind of hoping this kicks it off, but the critical reviews ain't so hot, so hopefully it still brings in money for that. And apparently, the Phantom of the Opera and the Hunchback of Notre Dame have been confirmed to join the universe alongside the Invisible Man, Bride
The
of
Phantom of the
Frankenstein.
Opera.
Yeah, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm surprised they haven't. I'm waiting for the announcement on the Metaluna Mutant. I'm waiting for them to throw that in there. But yeah, I think they're kind of moving away from the Universal monsters, and they're just like, because those two, I guess, will fit in with the kind of Doctor Jekyll where he is, and the kind of Bride of Frankenstein and Dracula are gonna kind of, and Van Helsing are gonna be like, you can imagine it being kind of split into like the supernatural and then the kind of science. You know what I mean? Kind
Yeah.
of different things there, and then they'll kind of clash and come together in like an Avengers kind of thing, unless they get killed off at the end of each film. But I don't know about
They
that.
need this mummy movie to make bank though,
Yeah, you could
because
tell by the advertising. There's been tons of
because
advertising on it.
they've done this thing that Hollywood keeps on doing now, with whether it's expanded universes or big franchise. With the first movie, they announced a crap ton of others. They did it with Power Rangers. We're going to make six sequels or whatever. The first one bombs. No, you're not. Right? This isn't. I mean,
Retraction.
we don't know if it's bombed yet, and it's got Tom Cruise. It might do well overseas, but let's say theoretically this mummy movie bombed, right? That's the second time the first movie out of the gate in this monsters universe has failed, because Dracula Untold was meant to be the first one, but that bombed, so they took it out and said, no, 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 this is the first one. This
Really?
dies on. Yeah, yeah. That's why there's no Dracula, because Dracula Untold was meant to be the first one.
No, I believe you, but when I said really, I was about to make a statement, and that
Mhm.
was really, if you look at Man of Steel as like the start of the DCEU universe, that was budgeted about 200 million, and that pulled in six and change. So really, you've got to hope that the Mummy does. You've got to think the production budget's about the same as Man of Steel. So really, that has to pull in. I mean, there's probably a difference in the advertising revenue of about 50 to 100 million. So really, this Mummy film's got to pull in 750, 800 million.
It's got to at least be 500, at
Oh
least. That's the
Christ,
minimum.
yeah. Oh Christ,
And
yeah.
it's because the thing is with these movies is it's all property that's pretty damn old now.
Hmm.
Like, we talked before that they've tried to reboot this stuff before. Dracula a couple of times it failed. The Van Helsing thing, the Wolfman thing that failed with Del Toro. The Mummy is probably the most recent one that's worked with Brendan Fraser. And even that, I like the first one, but even that's basically an Indiana Jones ripoff.
Yeah. It's not that those ain't relevant. So really, they've got to be amazing films and stuff like that. If anything, do a horror thing. And when I say horror, do proper like grisly horror stuff. Not like, oh, there's a mummy, I'm getting
Right.
scared. Like
Which
really, like,
this movie isn't. It's a Tom Cruise action movie, apparently, isn't it?
yeah, you've got around flipping Wolfman ripping people apart. You got to have that kind of thing, and you got.
That's the confusing thing as well, though, isn't it? It's like if they're going to bring them together, is Wolfman really a villain or is he some sort of hero?
I don't know.
How does that work?
I don't know. I think that they should have gone R-rated for everything. They should have had an R-rated universe because everything else is just going to be the kind of soft thing you've seen a million times, like werewolf just throwing people apart instead of tearing throats out, that kind of stuff. So really, I think they've gone a little too soft in terms
Yeah.
of like I ain't gonna be. I've really no intention of going to a cinema to watch a Dracula film. I've no intention of going to see a Wolfman film. Like, oh, the Wolfman's out. Oh, what's that about? Is that some like paranormal activity thing or exorcist thing? It's like, nah, it's just the guy who's like a werewolf. Oh, okay then.
The Invisible Man, like really, is that going to get people in?
It has to
Maybe.
be sinister because I know the Invisible Man. I'm pretty sure because I was reading on the different characters like on Wikipedia the other day, and I think like the Invisible Man's a bit sinister and stuff like that. Like he's working. Well, there's two different incarnations, and one's working for someone, and they invent this invisibility thing. So he kills him, and then takes it for himself, and then realizes he ain't like reversed it, and then he goes around killing people and stuff like that, and eventually he gets shot, and then like becomes visible again like in death. So I think they should have gone R-rated sinister films as opposed to this action adventure stuff because that ain't hot. It's got to be completely different to what everyone else is doing. So I think they should have gone R-rated horror because there's a lot of things they can do there. The whole Frankenstein stuff, they can make that all weird and stuff like that. The Invisible Man, they can have him be sinister as well, going around killing people, robbing people, and just like generally being a miscreant. Wolfman, as I said, ripping throats out. Phantom of the Opera, they can make that psychological and booky. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I'm pretty sure he just like sings.
Oh no, no. The actual Punchback and Notre Dame story is pretty dark.
See,
It's
there we
super
go.
dark.
That's what they should have done. You feel me? See, now you're starting to get on the same page as me, because then that's going to bring in the kind of audiences that go and see the paranormal activity, like 18 stuff, like really kind of dark and stuff, as opposed to like they're doing a kind of what they've done before with the first Van Helsing. They're kind of going along them lines with the kind of a real weak kind of underworld kind of thing going on with vampires and werewolves, and it's you're just going to look at it and think, it's like a 12-year-old's film.
Mhm.
And like, what 12-year-old at this age is going to be like, the Wolfman's in the cinema? It's like, nah, we want to, I don't know, drink out on the streets and throw eggs at people. You know what I mean? Not I'm gonna go to. Everyone's gonna want to go see these superhero films. So you've got to like move all the superhero franchises and stuff like that. So like really, you got to be completely edgy and different, which is why they should have gone shocking bring back proper horror. Go and shock people.
Right, it's why maybe that. Although I'm still confused about the whole thing right now, it's why maybe that Venom movie might work
Yeah.
with Tom Hardy. I still don't quite get what it's going to be, but that might work. But I'm with you. If you're going to do it, make it a horror movie. They've already done the Indiana Jones Mummy movie. We don't need another one.
Yeah. Speaking of Tom Hardy, apparently he's been eyed by Guy Ritchie. This is pure rumor at this stage to play Jafar
That won't happen.
in the Aladdin thing. You
That
don't
won't
think
happen.
so? Why?
Disney have already come out and said they're going to cast Middle Eastern actors. I think that's just someone starting a rumor.
Oh, so I
It's
didn't
going to
even.
be really weird if everyone's Middle Eastern except Tom Hardy, isn't it?
Well, yeah. They can be like, oh, the white man.
Yeah, named Jafar.
Yeah.
Come on.
I
He
don't.
won't be.
I don't know. So yeah. Also, this is completely like not relevant, but since you're on Tom Hardy, his dog died.
Don't tell me that.
So yeah,
That's
very
insane.
sad. Very sad. Well, he was sad.
More
So,
upset about that than Adam West.
well, yeah, it's that golden retriever he takes everywhere. That was like when he did the bedtime stories on CBeebies, it'd sit next to it and pet it. So yeah, and his comment was all he knew was love. So yeah,
Yeah, that's a Jafar, doesn't it?
rest in peace, Tom Hardy's dog. I'm
Indeed.
Sam,
Come
and we started with loss and ended with it. We'll see you next week.
Bloody hell.